Welcome to episode 56 of SAMA, a webinar series which invites an expert to talk about the area of expertise. This week we are delighted to have Dr. Darrell Wolfe as our guest expert to talk about the answer to cancer. Darrell has 36 years of experience in natural medicine as a medical intuitive and is known as the Doc of Detox. He is a Doctor of Natural Medicine, DNM, and a Doctor of Humanitarian Services, DHS. He's also certified with the Board of Integrative Medicine. So, welcome to our webinar, Darrell. It's so good to have you with us.
Hey, listen, it's my pleasure. You know what? I like you already. How's that?
But you've only known me for a short while, so maybe you'll change your mind after an hour. But we're right on the crest of this wave at the moment. Now, the title of our webinar this week is The Answer to Cancer. Now, nothing could be more teasing as that. And we've already got, I believe, a record number of participants watching us. So, in one sentence or less, what is the answer to cancer?
I'll tell you the answer to cancer. You see the capital C on cancer? Yes. That stands for corruption. Now take that C and take it off of cancer, and you're left with ANSER, which is the answer. Get rid of the corruption, and you've got the answer. And it's all about corruption. I'll prove it to anyone. It's all about corruption on an emotional and physical level. And understand something, that corruption really started back in 1910.
I think it was over one sentence. I don't think I've ever started a webinar as powerful, with such a powerful statement as this. Now, this is actually absolutely amazing. So in 1910, we'll step through it. What happened that changed things for the worst?
Well, in 1910, that's when the AMA just started to come together as a little idea, and that's when they started creating what we call medical doctors, because they were actually taking from petroleum industry and starting to make synthetic drugs. So that's where the medical doctor came from, and the medical doctor back then was called a quack, because nobody wanted anything to do with synthetics or petroleum products. So the reality is that back then there was 120 universities and colleges that did acupuncture, massage, chiropractic, homeopathic, herbalism, you name it. Yeah. So our dear Rockefellers and Rothschilds got together and gave $100 million to the AMA that was going to go bankrupt. They were going bankrupt. Okay, so they said, we'll give you $100 million, and if you can go out there and actually bring down 120 schools and totally wipe them all out, and the only universities that will be left are the universities that will sell our drugs, then we will make sure that we will make you the most powerful entity in healthcare in the world today. So here we are. So the reality is that cancer, back in 1910, when someone actually caught cancer, they would call doctors from hours away, and say, you've got to come here and take a look at this. We'll probably never see this again. That was in 1910. And here we are today. I don't need to tell you the rest of the story.
No, everyone knows the rest of the story. And I've actually, when you weren't here, when I first started the video and was testing everything out, I was just talking how things have changed, and really to call natural medicine alternative medicine is just a crime, because natural medicine.
No, it's not. It's not the crime. It's he who has the biggest budget wins. When you're talking about dealing in natural health, you're talking about things that take love, take care, and take time. When you're talking about chemicals and synthetics, you can make them for pennies on the dollar. And, life is not like that. Life is not worth pennies on the dollar. Life is, it's precious. But, you have to understand something. The truth is, it's all about the corruption. You've got a few really powerful people And those people have been in power for a few hundred years now. And those people consider you an ant, which is a person, it stands for allowing negative thoughts.
Yes.
People don't think for themselves anymore. And you have to understand something. If your family was in power for hundreds of years, then you would think that you were a god on this planet. And that's exactly what's happening. But you got to understand something, that if 30% of the population were to wake up and go, hey, wait a minute, some of these prescriptions are worse than the street drugs I used to take, but since we don't do that, but it all comes, and it all boils down to self-hate programs, self-destruct programs. Tell me one person that you know that doesn't do anything that would hurt them, that they know it would hurt them. I'll tell you right now, everybody that you know and everybody in your family knows that certain foods are not good and there's certain things that are not good, but they do them anyways. Now, why would they do them? Because they have no brain? No, we have the biggest brain and we think better than any other species. But the problem here is that with our subconscious, we will take on whatever beliefs are the most prominent. And even if they're killing us, we won't take a look at them. We'll just ride with them.
Right. Wow. So we've got the system as it is, the health system as it is. What can we do about it, Darrell? Can we?
About what?
Well, about the high incidence of cancer, for example. What can we do to try and negate the fact that, okay, we're getting really lousy medical care, medical assistance?
Yeah, but the thing is, no, we're not getting lousy medical care. You're confused. That is medical care. It's not going to get any better. Medical care is medical. It's like this, saying that I wish that horse could look like something else. No, it's a horse. Don't ask for medical care. And, medical care is only there for emergencies, car accidents, broken bones, 911 emergencies. But when you use medical care every day for your health care, then you become a 911 emergency. And I got to tell you something. That's your fault. That's your fault. Medical care was never meant to be brought into our lives. Now, medical care, they understand that if they can bring medical care into your life every day and that you would actually eat this up to believe that medical care is health care. But come on, seriously. Anybody with half a brain, if they actually thought about that medical care is health care, they know that isn't, because a doctor doesn't even know about detox, doesn't know about diet, doesn't understand what good drinking water is. You can ask him any question that's got to do with health and he can't answer it. So there's a big clue right there. So we can't blame healthcare, medical care, because medical care is not healthcare. So when people are going around complaining and explaining why their medical care is not good, listen to me. Medical care is about drugs, radiation, chemotherapy, and sorry, but we can't help you right now until it grows this big, and then we'll go in and we'll cut it out. So, the reality is that we're the ones that are confused. You can't ask something to be something it cannot be. And you can't ask medical care to be a loving entity. It's a corporation that has no heart, no beat. It has no heartbeat. It's got no feelings. It's got a bottom line, and it'll chew you up and spit you out before you even say your last name. Yeah,
because you're just a number. Or not even a number. You're just a customer for 15 minutes, and then you're back out the door again. One thing that surprised me since coming to America is the advertising of drugs on TV during primetime news. And some of the drugs are pretty powerful things. It's pretty scary. And one of them is like a painkiller. And I don't know what your take is. Well, I kind of know because I've read I've read those 2 PDFs you sent me. But pain is your body telling you something's wrong, and then you're taking a medication so you can't hear this pain, so you can soldier through the day. But that's going to only make issues which your body's telling you about worse.
Well, yeah, you've got issues in your tissues because you've got issues in your brain. You got to have a sick mind before you have a sick body. Just you have to understand that. And I don't mean people are sick in the mind. I mean that their beliefs are corrupted. They're contaminated, right?
Okay.
So, and the reality is here is that, I mean, think about it. This is what you have to understand, that people are not bad. There are no bad people. There are people with bad beliefs, but you don't have to cuddle up to those beliefs, right?
Mm.
You know, the thing is we keep on trying to dance with the medical system, and we keep on trying to make the medical system something else.
Mm.
Were you ever in a relationship where you wanted to make it work, but it wouldn't work no matter what?
Well, I won't give an answer to that.
Well, that's a self-hate program.
Yeah.
You're trying to make a relationship work that doesn't vibrate with you.
Mm.
You know, so it's like this. No matter how much you eat poison, it's always going to be poison. So I say to people, if you would just allow the medical system to do what they're supposed to do. So you go there in only emergency crises and not the ones that you make up in your head.
Right.
Right.
So what you're really promoting is self-empowerment.
Well, what I'm promoting is self-love. I want to make it really clear here. And I'm not talking about being self-centered. Yes. I'm talking about being selfish enough to meet your needs. And if you don't do that, then your body's going to rot out just like a car would rust out.
Right.
Okay. So, if we're not going to get into self-love, because you know how everybody runs around going, love is the answer.
That's right.
Love isn't the answer. Love is the cancer, because here's the deal. Love is a self-serve job. And if you were to fill up your heart with love and shine that on the world, then everything would be good. If you're waiting for the world to fill up your heart and to heal your body, well, you're not going to live that long.
Okay. So you've got to be proactive. I've had a question in from Julie Talar. She's one of our Facebook viewers. I don't mention who it is, but this Julie knows someone who has been treated for Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's just entered into hospice, so things must be very bad. And the question is, with B-cell Hodgkin's lymphoma, they've been told that other diseases may have been a contributing factor, for example, the Epstein-Barr virus. And she's asking, in your experience, do you know which combinations work best for Hodgkin's lymphoma?
Okay, first of all, let's understand Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's got to do with the lymph system.
Yes.
Right? You got 5 pints of blood, you got 7 quarts of lymph. Your lymph moves slow like oil, not like water. All right? And the Epstein-Barr virus did not cause the problem. Because understand something. The terrain will decide what lives there.
Yes.
Understand something. The whole basis of the medical system was based on Louis Pasteur and the germ theory. Well, Louis Pasteur on his deathbed said, God, forgive me for what I have done. And he's also been proven fraudulent. And the whole viral thing, bacterial thing has been proven fraudulent. That's not what causes the disease. The terrain does. Okay, you have to have a low vibrational terrain to allow these parasites to come in. And understand, if you've got a virus that's attacking you, then you've already got bad bacteria a long time ago, and that was the main cause. Is your good bacteria went bad. And understand something, you'd never have lymphoma if you would have looked after your large intestine. Because your lymph actually dumps into your large intestine. But when your large intestine becomes toxic and you back up. And then the other thing is, I guarantee you this person has never drank a lot of water. You have to drink enough water. You've got to eat whole plant-based foods. Okay, did they also shower in chlorinated water? See, people don't want to hear about this. They want to hear that it was some mysterious virus, and they'll believe that actually caused the lymphoma. Because once you say the virus caused it, then we know that there's nothing you can do personally. So what would the medical system tell you? That the virus caused it, not showering in a chlorinated shower for 50 years or 30 years. That when you took a 10-minute shower, you took in as much chlorine into your lymph system as if you drank 20 glasses of water for the chlorine that got into your lymph. Now, no, that didn't bother it at all. And did she skin brush? Did she salt glow? Did she eat a whole plant-based diet? Was she an alcoholic? Did she smoke? Let's just get rid of all the things that she's doing that isn't good for her. Did she even do dairy products? Because we know dairy products are one of the main causes for cancer. So it is all about inflammation. If you know the inflammatory foods and the inflammatory thoughts, and you can get rid of the inflammatory foods and the inflammatory thoughts, you don't even have to take supplementation. The big thing here is that we need to empower people and understand the virus was never the problem. I can tell you right now that there's not a cancer that isn't created from repeated trauma and conflict. Every disease, especially cancer, is created by the same continual trauma and conflict on an emotional level that actually goes in and creates an inflammation in a certain part of the brain. And you can x-ray this, and then it will show up exactly in that place with everyone. So the reality is, if we really understood what life was about, first of all, you're a light energy being. We know that we're made out of molecules. A molecule is 99% empty space. No, it's not. Wait a minute. It's 99% light energy frequency. Now, if you knew that a molecule was 99%, a particle was 99% empty space and it was light energy frequency, then right off the bat, your logical mind would say, wow, I'm a light energy frequency being. And that's how we come to this planet. We call that spirit. So that's how we leave when we decide that our body's not going to work anymore and we decide to go on to a new adventure. We leave as a spirit. Now, if we were to teach people how to become more spirited and raise their spirit by their emotions and how they would only bring love into their house and only bring health into their house, otherwise great foods, we would never be here. Understand something. Soon as you say something that like, yes, we believe that the Epstein Barr caused the lymphoma, we have just crippled the person with it and the family and made them into a victim state. They can't be a hero and save the day. So I want everybody to understand something. You are being lied to 24/7, that at least 70% of the beliefs that you have to 90% of the beliefs that you have about everything in life is a lie. Until you're willing to go in and erase and replace every belief and make it a prominent one, and those prominent beliefs have to be, when you have them, they're empowering. How many beliefs do you have right now that are disempowering? You have to understand something. I already said that the medical system is not a live human being. It's a corporation. It's an entity. So it's going to lie to you and it's going to kill you. And it's going to kill you slowly until your bank account is empty. And so is your heart. So understand something. You were created by God. You're a light energy person. And as soon as you start eating light, drinking light, okay, all right, thinking light, talking light, all right, and taking in the light from your foods, from the sun, and you watch what you say. You put a mini you on your shoulder and you observe and you never judge yourself again. And you understand that guilt has no purpose for you. You let yourself off the hook with everything. You know that you've always done your best. And then you get into the 4 laws, the universal law, which is love. And then you get into nature's law, which is staying close to nature as possible and being in nature and eating only natural foods. And then the next law is the law of life. And that means that life is precious and that you respect it with your breath. Okay. And then the law of health. And that means that you don't make any decisions unless they vibrate higher than you are already.
Right. So what can Julie do? Her friend, the person that she knows, he is already in the state and already in hospice. Is there no hope?
Well, when she's in hospice, there's lots of hope. Now, what I would tell her to do is I'd tell her to go in and hug her often, talk about all the great things and the times they've had together.
Yes.
You know, you could try to locate, and this is not about me, but guess what? We already know that she has a bowel problem, a big one. So if you could get her bowels moving, you know, and I'm not trying to sell you my product, but I have something. Look at the large intestine is the holy grail of all health. What sticks out in a person when they're sick?
What sticks
Their
out?
tummy. Their tummy. Their tummy. How many people look 3 to 6 months pregnant and they're men? And they're there rubbing their tummy because it's so upset. That's your large intestine falling down and out. She needs to get her bowels moving and cleansing. She needs to get on structured water. She needs to eat fresh and raw foods, if not steam them or start juicing. But the reality is she needs confidence people around her. You know what? The last thing that I would ever do is go to a hospice because everybody around me is dying. And everybody in there, usually that works there, thinks you're going to. It's not the greatest vibration in the world. I'm not saying that you're go and take her home. I'm just trying to be honest with you. You know what? I always want to be honest. But the thing is there does come a point in life that you go too far and you can't come back. When the body becomes so rotten that the spirit cannot vibrate in it and live in it anymore, it will leave. And that's the reality of it, you know? And I tell people this, they go, well, what am I going to do? I know that they're probably going to pass away. And I go, you know what you're going to do? You're going to walk in with a smile. You're going to hug them often and try to do at least a 20-second hug because that brings up the spirit. Every hug helps, releases serotonin, releases dopamine, but a 20-second hug, heart to heart, is the most important thing you could do for her. And it's going to heal her more than anything else. And let her know how she's made such a difference in your life because friends do that. Let her know that you so appreciate her and love her and that she is so beautiful. You know what? And you know, people say to me, Dr. Wolfe, can you tell me really quick how I can cure this? I tell you right now, go to braveheartlibrary.com and I've given you enough information there. Until a person creates the perfect day, from the minute they wake up until they go to bed, on what they need to know, okay, until you know what to physically do to your body and your mind, from the minute you wake up until you go to bed, gentle, loving steps, you will never be healthy. You will never be happy. And remember, happiness is not an emotion. Happiness is a lifestyle. And you will know when you are the master of your mind, and there's a new sheriff in town called self-love, and you're honoring, respecting, and trusting yourself. There's an oath that I say, and it's this: today and every day, I will honor, trust, respect, protect, forgive, and love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, because I can. And until you're willing to do that, then just get ready for a bumpy ride, and you better put that seatbelt on because you are going to be used, you are going to be abused, you're going to be schooled, and you're going to be fooled until you are selfish enough to understand your needs and that you came here alone. And when you came here, you made a deal when you came here that you said, I would come to planet Earth, which is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure, and I would come here as a pure spirit. And then I would lose that spirit and become adulterated. And then I would find my spirit again before I leave. And that's the name of the game.
You put a lot of information for us, Darrell. It's quite takes a while for it to sink in. Now, reading through your documents, you're talking about scar tissue. Can you explain this, please?
Okay. Scar tissue is actually what the body creates when it knows that you're not in control. Scar tissue, let me explain. So what happens here? When we get negative thoughts, which are low vibrational, right? Yes. We can agree on that one, right?
Yes.
So when we also eat low vibrational foods, which we know those are cooked, adulterated, chemicalized, right? Foods, sure. Right? Processed foods. Mm-hmm. So when you take in low vibrating emotions, which everybody does, and you would be surprised how much you do it all day long. And when you don't eat foods that are made directly from the farmer, okay, then those foods are going to create, okay, now I need you to get this. Everything in life vibrates. Everything in life has a frequency. So when you take in enough of the same frequency, then you become that frequency. So when you take in corrupted, mutated food, you become corrupted and mutated. So when you take in low vibrational foods and low vibrational thoughts about yourself, then what happens is we see everything in life as an image. Did you know that? Everything we see is an image first. That image becomes a thought. That thought then becomes an experience. That experience then becomes a feeling. Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, I feel great. Did you ever notice that when you feel lousy, all of a sudden within a split second, wait a minute, at the speed of light, you just lost a ton of energy. Where did it all go? Where did it all go? Well, you're a light energy being. So if you're going to have a low frequency thought, you're going to lose your energy just like that. Now, remember the last time that somebody said something or something happened and you had this amazing feeling of love and celebration. Where in the heck did you get 4 times the energy in a split second? Because we are frequency beings. And depending on the emotion, because what does emotion stand for? The E stands for energy, and energy in motion. And that's what we are. So now we've got image, thought, okay, experience, which is the emotion, okay, and the feeling. So here you go. You ready for this? That feeling goes to your brain. That feeling then orchestrates the brain and triggers the brain and says, listen, very low frequency here. Okay, fight, flight, fright, freeze, release adrenaline and cortisol. Now, how do you like this? Not the majority of the population, but only probably 1 out of every 100 people actually are in a parasympathetic state. The rest are in a sympathetic state all day long, trickling adrenaline and cortisol in their brain is triggering that to be released. And that's going into your tissues. Now, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a weak link. The last time that you got stressed out, you got upset. Oh, I got a knot in my shoulder. Oh, my low back hurts. Every time that you get upset, the weak link stands out. Why? Because when you go and dump the adrenaline and the cortisol, and you keep dumping it, that is causing what? Acidity. Acidity causes a lower vibration. Now, your body, look at, it'd be like this. If you didn't feel anything from doing negative stuff to yourself, you'd be dead already. Now understand something. What makes us amazing on this planet is we are light energy beings, and we came down here to experience emotion. We came down to experience hate, anger, lust, greed. Oh, wait a minute. Joy, happiness, bliss, right? Oh, we also came down here to experience having a good poop and an orgasm. So understand something. We came down here to feel many different types of emotion. So the problem is a lot of us get our wheel caught into the negative stuff because we're being orchestrated by different systems, and we don't realize, and we don't have a protocol that is a self-loving protocol throughout the day to keep us high vibrational. Okay? So now you've got this, instead of serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin, which are the love chemicals, the healing chemicals, the restore chemicals, because you'll release those when you're feeling happy and lovely and just loving yourself and loving life. But that's not what we do. We put ourselves on simmer, on a burner all day long, because you know why? False evidence appearing real. We have fear, because what's happened is, okay, you know, it wasn't very long ago we were living in caves. And the problem is our brain has not been able to evolve as fast as our technology. And our brain has not been able to evolve to the point that we don't understand that the government and the medical system and even other systems I won't talk about and the media know that we have a caveman brain still. and that they can actually trigger fear in us continually to make us go on drugs and buy really crappy foods and drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes because we just hate ourselves, right?
Is this why news focuses on bad news? Because it's very seldom you listen to the news and you hear something good. It's always bombings and shootings and robberies. And is this part of that?
Well, there's only the biggest money to be made is in addiction. So, you know, the first thing you've got to do is get people addicted. And how you get them to be addicted is to give them low self-esteem, low self-value, and henny penny, the world's going to end tonight. So how many people out there right now on Facebook and that have actually died in their mind today, or they thought that the end of the world was coming today, or they were never going to get through some type of drama or conflict today, and guess what? It was only the 10,000th time you've done it in your life. So keep doing that, and that's what causes the inflammation. So you have to understand that the media is able to trigger inflammation in people continually like this. And meanwhile, guess what? You are watching, but thank God you're watching TV and watching the news, and then you get all this conflict and anxiety because aren't you lucky? Because now there's going to be 5 commercials on how you can numb yourself out. You see, it all works just perfect.
It fits together. It fits together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's marvelous. It's marvelous. It's called the family curse. All right. So now, the reality is now that those chemicals are coming in, your body's not stupid, and your body goes, okay, so you can't wake up to the fact. I've got GPS here, which is pain and inflammation and swelling. I've got to give you all 3 of those, because you're not waking up to the fact, and you don't understand that if we didn't have pain, we wouldn't be alive. And pain is saying, I love you, Darrell, but you're off track. So what the average person does is they blow up the track, right? So the reality is then now your body goes, we've got a lot of inflammation here. We've got destruction. If there's too much inflammation, we go to proliferation of cells. And then from proliferation, we go to mutation. Once we get to mutation, guess what? Okay, you need to understand something. The difference between an inflamed cells and cancer is there's a lot of them, that's all. You know, when they tell you that somebody's got mutation, that it's the same cell as the other one that was inflamed. It's just that there's a lot more, and there are a lot more in crisis. That's the difference between those two things. So the reality is this: your body goes, okay, we tried the inflammation, we tried the pain, we tried the swelling. Guess what? We got to make fibrin. Fibrin is microscopic little tissue, but it's like rope. It's tough, okay? And the other thing is, your body's going to send this microscopic fibers called fibrin to whatever the weak link was. So wherever the pain is, pain in my neck, pain in my back, or if it's in your pancreas, or if it's in your liver, or if it's in your large intestine, itis, everything, colitis, neuritis, right? All these itises, bursitis, right? Tenosynovitis, tendinitis, right? Okay, so tonsillitis, I can keep going. So the reality is this. So now all that scar tissue is going there because it's like scar tissue. The fibrin goes. You want to know something? We have never had so much scar tissue in our life before because we've never had so much fear, and we've never had so much panic and conflict, and we've never watched TV so much, and we've never listened to so much bullshit in our life, and we just eat it up and swallow it. You know, today people will take down a lie 100 times faster than they'll take the truth. They can't even understand the truth. We're just not programmed for it anymore. So now what happens is that the scar tissue is building up, and I get people coming to me because we have what's called Wolfe deep tissue. I put this together when I was 27 because I kept seeing people coming in and massage wasn't working, acupuncture wasn't working, chiropractic, it'll help, but chiropractic doesn't touch the scar tissue. If you don't get rid of the scar tissue, you don't get rid of the issue. Why do you think we're selling so many canes, walkers, wheelchairs? Why do you think there's so many fibroids and tumors now? Because we don't understand what causes inflammation, how to prevent it, and then how to turn it around. So when I was 27 years old, I put a technique together called Wolfe deep tissue. Now you can believe it or not believe it, but it's on itioh.com. I have all the testimonials. I worked on a lady last Saturday. Fibroid, 10 inches wide, 7 inches long, 4 inches deep. 1.5 hours later, I have it down by 60%. Where did it go? It didn't go anywhere. Soon as you start pulling the fibers apart, okay, what happens is the light energy frequency stuff that is voodoo, which we really are, we're light energy beings, starts to get in between the fibers along with the blood and the lymph. And now you've got the flow of life, which instantaneously turns this fibrous, hard scar tissue into soft, beautiful connective tissue the way it was meant to be. Now, meanwhile, you go to a doctor and he's going to go, well, you know, it's not big enough yet, but if it happens to get bigger, we'll have to cut it out. But guess what? We'll keep an eye on that for you because we live behind your toilet. Now, the other thing is then you've got the chiropractor who adjusts you. And I have nothing wrong with chiropractic, but what about the stress he's creating? Then you go to a massage therapist and he soothes you. You'll be okay. We'll calm it down. Unless you're going to pull that fibrous scar tissue apart, you're not going to get rid of the issue in your tissue. That's why, guess what? Everybody's only good until their next treatment. So the reality is now your body's been sending scar tissue there continually and you've got all these knots in your body. Well, if I had a rope, which is your muscle, and I tie a knot in it, does it make it longer or shorter? It makes it shorter. That's why you don't feel like you can play sports anymore. That's why you don't do the extension and flexion anymore. That's why you don't have the strength. Because for every physical block you get with that scar tissue, you have less energy flow throughout the body, less blood flow, less lymph flow. Okay, so now, hey, Grandpa, are you okay? You seem really stiff and you're walking not right. Grandpa doesn't feel a thing. Because after a while, the scar tissue becomes so much, it wraps itself around the nerves so that the nerves won't feel any pain anymore because it has to numb you out. Okay, it's just like the alcoholic never has a hangover. So the body has to take over and it gives you so much scar tissue so you don't feel pain anymore because that's bringing down your immune system so that the viruses and the bacteria can get in there. Oh, wait a minute. So here's the deal. Wherever you have a weak link and you have inflammation, you're going to have what? Infestation of viral, bacterial, fungal, and worms. And what does the body do? Creates and builds scar tissue around it like a moat to hold the inflammation in and to keep the worms and the parasites and everything from attacking it. Because what does the fungus want to do and the parasites? They want to live in a low vibrational place that's just like them. And then they want to come in and throw up in you and they want to poop in you in that low vibrating tissue, which causes the mutation and the low oxygen levels that we talk about.
Gosh.
I hope I answered your question.
Well, and then that is that sets the terrain for cancer and other serious diseases.
Everything is frequency.
Yes.
You know, we already know that. It's been done in lab tests thousands of times where they put a frequency in and they've changed cancer cells and then they've changed them back. And then they've done bacteria and made them into bad bacteria, viruses, good viruses into bad ones, yeast into fungus. And then when you change the terrain enough, it's like, where did the worm come from? Well, because it was always there. We may take in eggs continually from foods continually, but you have a high vibration that doesn't let them hatch and doesn't let them invite all their aunts and uncles and the whole family, right? So once your vibration comes down, come on, what is this one? Tell me this isn't true. Everybody, you know, a glass of wine a night. We know wine's not good for you, and it also has Roundup in it, and it has pesticides in it. It's not good for anybody. And, you know, oh, but it makes me relax. Well, that's because you don't love yourself enough. You could learn to relax if you learn to do the Lionheart breathing, 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out, put a slight smile on your face and shut your eyes and just be quiet for a little bit. And then, you know, because God only whispers, you know, just get connected back to your source, which is a light energy being. So that's how you don't need the wine, which is the alcohol that actually feeds the cancer. Okay. So, and then, but here's the deal. Almost every couple, everybody at nighttime, it's around what? The same time every night, around 9:15, 9 o'clock. Hey, you know what, honey? I'm feeling kind of snacky. And that's because your energy levels are dropping and the fungus and the bacteria and the worms are going, Mommy, feed me. So that's when they take over, because guess what? Whenever you're tired, that's when you start having negative emotions and you start feeling like the world's going to end. So that's when we don't look after ourselves. That's when it would be good to have a little nap or to do something really good for yourself, like breathing techniques, and bring yourself into balance, but we don't. So then we go low vibrational, and then we look for low vibrational foods, which is the chips, the ice cream, right? The tacos, you know, the fake cheese or the cheese that's inflammatory. So you have to understand something. You know, when's the last time that you were freaking out and you said, I'm just going to stop freaking out here for a minute and make a nice salad? No. You went in and had a drink, or you had a smoke, or you had a toke, or you took a pill, right? So if you're not going to become the master of your mind, then your mind is going to master you. And trust me, 70% of the beliefs in the majority of the population are self-hate, self-destruct beliefs. Take a look around and tell me, you know what? I'm going to be 64 years old. I don't act it. I don't look it. And I'm only getting better every day. Because unless you are into transformation, otherwise evolving of your consciousness, you might as well forget it. You're toast.
Wow. Had a few questions coming in, Darrell. Robin Werner asks, this you can answer quickly if you like. Has fulvic acid been tested on cancer patients?
Oh, well, you know what? Has it been tested? Like, have they done it like an actual test? I mean, has it been tested where we need to have documentation and spent millions of dollars so that we can prove it to everyone? No. But does it work on every illness in the world? Yes. And guess what? You won't find it on my website right now, but I have the highest quality and the smallest molecule of humic fulvic acid in the world, and it's mechanically made, not from chemicals. There's nothing like it. My stuff is so small that you can actually put it in your eyes to reverse different types of eye diseases. And I don't know of another humic fulvic that can do that. So I think humic fulvic is amazing. That's one of my main core things. The other thing is gentle daily cleansing on the colon, drinking structured water, eating whole plant-based foods, and knowing that I was created by God and I'm going to act like it.
Beautiful answer. Now, another question that Robin asks, have you had any experience with patients drinking 3% food-grade hydrogen peroxide, and specifically for cancer?
Well, if you know, do you know of a guy by the name of Walter Groats? He was the father of hydrogen peroxide, and he passed away. But when I was 25 years old, I had a clinic in Toronto, and I used to bring him up, and I used to bring up Ed McCabe, who's in ozone, back then. And that's when the CBC decided to come and attack me. And what we used to do is I used to buy big 200-gallon barrels and actually bottle it 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide into gallons and sell it for people. So I know all about hydrogen peroxide, but there's a lot better ways to skin the cat. You know what? I believe that we can get ourselves healthy with a lot easier, more fun-filled, high vibrational things than choking down that stuff. Okay? All right? Most people believe that life and health are supposed to be hard, and you're supposed to work for them. You're supposed to go through a healing crisis. And I say that that is a bunch of foolery. So here's the deal. Just like in the natural health field, a lot of practitioners believe that you should cleanse every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year. Everybody's got different philosophies. I say don't cleanse at all. And here's the deal. I called the Doc of Detox, and the reason why is because guess what? If you do gentle, baby, self-loving steps every day, you never have to do a deep cleanse. So why don't you just love yourself every day? Why don't you just look after yourself every day? Why do you have to not deal with your emotional problems and then let them blow up and then have a divorce or have a fight with your loved ones or yourself? Why do you have to just eat garbage all the time and treat yourself like garbage? And then, oh man, you know what? I think I'm going to do a cleanse. Why is that? Well, I feel like, you know what the word is. And so I'm going to do this deep cleanse. Are you? Yeah. First, I'm going to cleanse my colon with a bunch of laxatives. And then I'm going to do a heavy liver cleanse and then a kidney cleanse. And then I'm going to do a parasite cleanse. And then I'm going to go right back to the way I lived before. And then I'll do it all again because that's what I am, is unconscious. So the reality is that I don't believe in any of that. I think that deep cleanses and that whole every 3 month cleanse is just the craziest thing I've ever heard. I believe in intermittent fasting. I believe in gentle cleansing every day. That's why I have a product that cleanses all the organs, and this is not a sales pitch. And it cleanses them in the way that it only supports them. Anything with a laxative or a stimulant in it is just, again, just the way the pharmaceutical people do it, stimulate you somehow, or create something that's going to jerk your body all the time into action. And you don't want to do that. You want to just caress it and say, you know what, I love you. And we're going to do this together gently, because we can do it. And we're going to do it every day. And guess what? I'm going to learn how to love you gently every day, so that I don't even have to think about it, that it'll become one of my most prominent beliefs, so that when my friend Harry comes over and he wants me to smoke or toke or drink, right, or we get into toxic conversations, what we always do, I'm going to abstain from that. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm just going to find new friends. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
And it's so true. Some people just are vampires for emotions, and all they give out is all negatives. And how many people do you know, Darrell, where you walk away and you're just exhausted, you're just drained, your life force.
But here's the deal. What are you doing there?
Exactly, but I mean, you only learn after such an event. I mean, you don't know what you're doing.
I know, but the thing is that now you've learned. But the thing is guess what? You don't want to be a bad guy. You want to be a nice guy. Oh, that's Darrell. He's a nice guy. Oh yeah, well, nice guys don't live very long. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Here's the reality, and I'm not trying to tell you to be a mean person, but you can get a person that totally believes that they can heal themselves, right? Like I had a lady that the other day that I'm working with, and she said, you know what? I just got to do this. My family said, if I don't get this chemo, I'm going to die. And you know what? I really believe that maybe I could die. What should I do, Dr. Wolfe? And I said, well, get the chemo. And when you're done, then we'll talk. Because the thing is that if she believes she doesn't get the chemo and she's going to die, your beliefs are going to overpower anything. If I could get her to believe that if she ate a peanut butter sandwich and it was going to cure her, it probably would. We're light energy beings. So your beliefs are everything. And the thing is, as far as people, sucking energy from us, believe it or not, you got to understand something. It's very rare that I'm talking to somebody that I'm talking to their spirit. They're talking to their heart. I'm actually talking to their subconscious. You do understand that when you get here, right, as a 4-year-old child, you have genius level in your brain. Okay. You do know that.
Yes.
So when you're 20, you do know that it's only 10% of 20-year-olds have genius level left. You do know that by the time you're 30, only 2% have genius level. This is actually studied. And that all depends on how adulterated your parents are and how adulterated your school is you go to, or the religion you're involved, or maybe it's not the religion, it's not the school. But listen, you're getting it from somewhere. When we come here, we have total love for ourselves. And then we lose that. And then we operate from other people's beliefs. They only 1 out of 10,000 people ever truly awaken on this planet. Ever truly awaken. I'm not saying that there's different levels of being, there's different stages of being awake. I know that I can honestly say that 95% of the day, I'm in total love with myself. And if there's a crisis happening, I right away connect to my breath and I go, I'm not going to react. I'm only going to take action if it's loving and it's supportive. And if it's not, I will stay connected to my breath and I will not. See what people do when things don't go right in the family? They don't realize this. But you don't want to get cancer in today's family, because if you get cancer in today's family, nobody understands health. They've all been sucked in by the whole cancer lies. That as soon as somebody gets cancer, they're going to die right away, and they all freak out right away. And none of them are emotionally balanced. You know what really pushes a cancer patient over is the family. I say when somebody gets cancer, get them away from their family. Families are very toxic, okay, and they're not supportive because they don't have the information. If you aren't the authentic you, and you can't hold the light, and you bring darkness to a cancer patient, that they're doomed. So that's the first thing. The other thing is did you ever notice this? And this is pretty well every family. When somebody's in conflict or hurting in a family, most of the family jockeys to see who's going to suffer the most to show they love that person the most. When I first started getting into this, my family actually rejected me. You're cold-hearted. Who do you think you are, Jesus or Buddha? because I'm trying to find peace within chaos, right? And now, trust me, they look up to me. They may not try to want to be me, but they don't disrespect me anymore because they know it. But their beliefs are so strong that they can't change. And I'm not out to change anyone, but I will tell you that if you ever want to take a look at erasing and replacing your beliefs and getting prominent beliefs that only honor and respect you, then you will never have a dis-ease because you'll always be at ease.
That's amazing. I've got a question from Erica Graves. The question is, would you please discuss the pleomorphic characteristic of cancer? So it's back taking a few steps back, but she wants to know how pleomorphic nature of cancer.
What do you mean? I want to know exactly what she means.
I'm not sure what she means exactly. This is how she's worded it. I think.
Is she asking me how it morphs?
I guess so. I guess how it can change.
Well, cancer morphs by frequency. That's how it morphs. You have to understand that when you live in conflict and terror and drama, and take a look at it. Don't even, everybody out there on Facebook land, you know that you're all guilty of that, and you're not guilty of anything, but you're guilty of doing it. Do you actually do the Lionheart breathing, 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out? Do you actually dip everything into your heart before you open your mouth or process something? Do you actually mind your own business and don't take things personal and don't look for approval and totally focus on yourself that you can become the light and show the way for your family? So the reality is this, that things only morph depending on the frequency of what you're doing something and the depth of that. Okay. Now, if we get somebody that has like 2 or 3 dysfunctional beliefs, that's good. Get somebody that has like 12 or 13 and they're on fire. They're out of control. Okay. Now take a look at the people that you know that are truly happy, truly at peace with themselves. They're not going to have cancer. Now, I'm not talking about the nice guy. The nice guy is the nice guy. The nice guy will pretend to be anything for anybody. And he usually doesn't hang around too long. Oh my God, he was so nice. He passed on. Well, that's because he was never himself. You know, you've got to be the authentic self. You've got to really look for that. And believe it or not, it takes a little bit of work to discover that. You know, you're going to struggle anyway, so you might as well struggle to become yourself, right? So the thing is, you know, when she says nothing's going to morph into cancer if you don't give it and feed it. Remember something, your mind is very hungry. Your mind never sleeps. So what are you feeding your mind when you go at night? When you go to bed at night, remember something, the first hour in the day and the last hour of the day are the most important times. First hour of the day, before you even open your eyes, do you put your hands in prayer mode or just even on your heart and get into breathing 6 seconds in and 7 seconds out, and then right away going, I am grateful for these 3 things. I am going to and then think of something that you should forgive or let off the hook, at least 3 things, right? And then you should get up and then you should drink a quart of water if you're a man and about a half a quart of water if you're a woman, right off the bat. It's sitting right at the bed here. You know what? So there's rules. There's rules. Get up in the morning and hurry. Get up in the morning, stub your toe. Get up in the morning and don't feel gratitude. And there's the reality right there. Now, the last hour of the night, oh my gosh, you're going to watch the news and be terrorized and then have all the worst events in the world in a half an hour and then not sleep at all. Okay. Or have a restless one. Or you're going to take the last hour and put on soft music, candlelight. And if you're married, then you hold your husband's hands for 20 minutes, right? And you put your knees together. And if you can't fold your knees, and then you sit on the floor or on the bed and you put your legs out like this, and then she puts her legs on top, so you're touching, and you hold each other's hands, and you look in each other's eyes for 20 minutes. And I bet you can't. I bet you haven't looked in your wife's eyes for more than 3 seconds. 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat. Oh, that's it. So anyway, so now you're going to do it for 20 minutes, and then you're going to see her soul, and she's going to see your soul, and you're going to see how amazing you are. And then, you know what? All those fearful things that you don't want to talk about and you've never talked about, and the things that you start not liking her about, they're going to melt. because that's what's going to happen. And you're going to do that for 20 minutes. Put some candles on, some soft music, some essential oils. And then when you're done, and you know what, you're going to get itchy, don't scratch it and pee before you do it. Okay. And don't make any excuses, and don't try to make her laugh, guys. Get into this and start feeling for once. And then guess what? Then watch cancer melt. Let's see the corruption go. And after 20 minutes, and if you can only do it for 5 minutes, that's great. At least you did it. And then sit there and talk. What did you feel? Well, you know what? I was thinking about when I was a kid, or I was thinking about how, you know, that I was really worried you'd cheat on me, or I was thinking about this, and I was just thinking about how much I love you. Most guys end up crying. Okay. All right. So, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to feel like your neck hurts while you're doing and holding her hands, and your back hurts. Well, just stay with the lion heart breathing and breathe together. Look in each other's eyes and work with this, and do it for 33 nights in a row, and then heal everything, because you've got dis-ease in your life and you're probably henpecking each other already. So that's the reality. And there's where cancer is. Cancer is not recognizing how beautiful you are, how beautiful that your husband is. Oh, and guess what? If you have children, all right, they're not dogs. So stop yelling at them. Stop treating them like anything else. They're blessings from God to try to wake you up that you're a light energy being, and they're your teachers. Never punish them. Talk to them like adults. Oh, why did you break mommy's thing? Why did you steal that? Why did you yell at me like that? But honestly, sit there and talk. I will tell you something. I deal with, I've done over 22,000 consultations for families with emotional issues. And I will tell you right now, when you start talking to children as little goddesses from the universe, instead of, you know, something that you purchased and something that you're supposed to train, all right? You're not supposed to train them. And understand this, unless you've gone through something like my Braveheart training, then you're adulterated, which means you're poisoning them. So that's the reality. You know, you want to know where cancer is? It's becoming the authentic self. It's about getting rid of all the beliefs that anybody else ever gave you. You know, you need to totally empty out your mind, and you need to totally fill up your heart. But you can't do that until you fill your heart up with yourself first. You know, you want to know where cancer is? You rely on your kids to tell you how much they love you every day. And if they don't, because their focus is somewhere else, and your husband is all busy in his business, then you're going to feel like you're not appreciated. That's where cancer is. You know where cancer is? When the husband comes home all day and he grumps and nobody wants to listen to him because he's hardworking. But he shouldn't be doing that anyways. He should be leaving everything out on the doorstep, wiping his mind off, and only bringing love in and hugging his family. You know what? There's the cancer.
There's a lot of what you say mirrored in Buddhism, where even the term raising your frequency is used in your understanding, acceptance, and personal growth, and other and religions as well, just personal development and acceptance.
Well, this is not a religion.
No.
So understand that. And, you know, religion has taken these things. You know what? This is not a religion, because when we start talking about religion, we have 1,500 of them. So the reality is we all came from the same place, and we're all going to return to there. And you can pick any religion you want. That's why we're down here. You can also eat anything you want, and you can also be anything you want. And you have all those choices. But the reality is I don't want any religion. And this is not religion. This is just you being a light energy being. And and also understand that we were created out of total love, and we are total love. And we came down here and we were made into believe that we're sinners and that we should have guilt for things. Well, I don't know the last time that I gave my wife guilt, my kids guilt, or I gave myself guilt, that it actually helped me in my growth. So I want to stay away from religion, because religion really loves guilt, because we're all never good enough. Well, guess what? I don't care what anybody believes. You can believe whatever you want, but I am good enough. And I'm more than good enough. And guess what? I've always done my best, even when I've broke the rules, or even when I've hurt people or hurt myself, because I came down here to a dysfunctional planet, and you expect me to be functional? What are you, crazy? So, and if I actually believed that and believed in most of those religions, I'd go around judging everybody, wouldn't I? And that's why we're in this mess right now. So I'd prefer to keep religion out of this.
Do you think that things are going to improve? Like,
I think that improvement is a personal issue. And I think that things are not going to improve if you think that you're looking for love. If you realize that you are love, then things are going to improve. You know what? There was a time in my life that I hated this planet. I hated myself. And guess what? This planet hasn't changed at all. And I love this planet. I love everybody about this planet. I love myself, and I love you even. And you know what?
oh, thank you, Darrell.
Even you. I'm kidding. I'm just trying to tell you that, guess what? When you feel up and you feel down, the world has not changed. You have. So when you're up and down, that's you. You've decided that roller coaster. So what made today a great day? You know, whether today rains or it shines, or whether my kids are happy today or miserable today, I'm going to hold the light. That is the reality of it. You know, if everybody really knew what the teachings of, let's say, Jesus Christ were, they would understand he wasn't religious. He totally believed in love, and he totally believed in forgiveness. And he was totally against the government. So I don't know, that could be me, but I'm not trying to say I'm not. I'm trying to say that that's what I believe in. So, and that's not a religion. So you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Happiness is not a religion.
True.
Okay.
Had a question in from Charlotte. Charlotte's a long-time supporter. I met her just a few days ago. Now, Charlotte is confirming that, you know, cancer didn't happen to us, but it is us. It is with us if we allow our energy, our frequency level to go down.
Well, it's with you. Your beliefs are cancerous. If your beliefs are going to vibrate at that level, it's all about beliefs, and that's it. You know, your subconscious is just one big filing cabinet, right? Everybody says, I never want to be like my mother and father, but all your friends and family know you act just like them. You know, when you really start working on yourself, and you know, you'll want to get rid of some, like, okay, can I tell you what I did? When my kids were young, I put them on the couch, all of them, okay? There's 4 of my children, and I said to them, look it, you guys are going to have physical pain and emotional pain, and me and your mother created it, okay? We didn't know better. And the thing is that I'm here to help you fix it. Now, you might decide that, you know, and they all did. They all decided that they all want certain amounts of pain because they came here to experience that. It's when you get your wheel caught in the gutter and you can't get it out, and you keep on digging a hole in that. So my children all know that I'm here for them. And I'll tell you something. For me, learning to lighten up has helped my children in so many ways. And the thing is this, I still allow them to, I'm going to allow them to fall, but I'd like them to fall forward, because we're always going to fall. And, you know, I might fail 1,000 times today, but I've never failed. You know what? Whenever we try to perfect something, we're going to fail 1,000 times at it until we get it right. Right. And the thing is I've never failed. So you'll never fail as long as you fall forward. When you fall backward, right, that you're not good enough, you never will be. You know, everything that you are today, and every disease that you have today, and the house you live in, and the family you have, you created them all. So even the clothes you're wearing, everything you're doing, there's people that have the belief system that money is hard to get, okay, will always have a problem getting money. You know, I say to people, you know, because people bring this up a lot, you know, it's so hard to get ahead. And I go, well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Are you trying to tell me that everybody that's a millionaire is intelligent? Think about some of the people that you know that are millionaires. Now, those people, they just know that money's easy to make and they can do it. It's just a belief. So if you believe that you can turn your cancer around, then you're going to do it. But the reality is that if you've got a huge tumor and you've got a family of fear-mongers and you haven't learned how to change your habits, then I don't care what you think. It's just not going to happen. You've got to eliminate everything that vibrates at the level, okay, at the level of cancer. And you've got to only pick things that vibrate higher. So you're not going to go see your mother that's always hounding at you, telling you that you're not good enough or you're selfish. You won't visit her. You'll send her your love.
Quick phone calls. Hello, hi, mum, love you. Bye-bye. Got to go.
That's it. Yeah, I got to run. Listen, yeah.
So that's actually quite easy. So, but if someone has cancer, they turn their life around and the cancer goes. If they go back again, I guess then the problem comes back again.
Well, it's all about belief systems. You know, you got to hold the line. You know, it's one thing. It's like the person who loses the weight and then just falls back into their old lifestyle, right? And I'll tell you something right now. I have a course that's called Braveheart. It's an online course.
Yes.
Okay. And I'll tell you right now that when people go through my Braveheart course, they haven't even changed their diet. They lose the weight, or they haven't changed their diet and they put it on if they need. You have to understand that something. It's first, it's, you know, you have to have a sick mind in the way of your thoughts are negative before you'll have a sick body. And you've got to have healthy thoughts and healthy beliefs. So you have to go in and do that. And I have what's called a 12-step self-loving step program. And I don't know if you want this or not, but whenever I do a show like this, because really, are we pretending to help people or are we going to help them? So I have what's called a Braveheart online course. And if your audience goes to itioh.com, which stands for International Training Institute of Health, and they go on there and find which is called Braveheart online course, and they click on Braveheart free. That's a $400 course, and they can sign up for free when this show is over, okay, until for 12 hours.
People, you better hurry up.
And then guess what? They will be lifetime members, and I'm changing the course continually. And then I have what's called Braveheart Nation every 2 weeks, 2 hours twice a day, where people call from doing the course and I answer their questions and how to deal with their families, how to deal with themselves, how to deal with the changes. Because you know what? When you said to me, is the world going to change? Well, it's not going to change if we don't show people that we love them enough to help them with the change.
Okay.
Now, if people don't want to take the course, they can just go to braveheartlibrary.com and they can send that to a family member. And it's a couple of audios, and it talks about the inflammation to scar tissue and how cancer is created and how to create the perfect day for somebody who just wants to tip their toe in. You have to understand that if you never call me or you never buy product, you never come to us, our objective is to change the world just like you, right? That's what you're out doing. Why do you think you're out traveling? You're traveling around, and of course you're having fun, you're meeting new people. But the thing is your mission is to make this world a better place. That's what you've decided.
So it's itioh.com, was that right? Someone's
yeah.
.com.
It stands for International Training Institute of Health .com. Okay. And if they go onto the page and they find, they got to have to put, it's not going to be too hard, Braveheart free. I mean, it's that easy. They click in there,
yes.
Okay, and then they will be able to go online, and then they can start working with it. And it's a full. This is a full course. There's nothing like it that I know of, and it's fun. A fun-filled course for you. Okay.
That's very generous of you. And I've typed it in for our viewers. I've had some people say they want to go and they just wanted me to repeat the website. Now we've got a record number of attendees. Just in the time I started saying the sentence, another person's joining. Now we've got a record number of online viewers, registered viewers. So well done. Well, we've run out of time. It's been absolutely riveting what you've been saying. You're saying that healing's on the inside. Healing is attitude. Healing is us. Is that, would you agree with that statement? Healing is us. Healing begins with us.
Well, healing is a frequency.
Yes.
we're light energy beings, and
Yes.
we've been infused into physical matter, and what you think matters, because it creates matter. What you think creates matter. Okay. If you took a look at pictures of me even 15 years ago, I'm healthier and I look better now. You know, so the more that I learn how to totally have unconditional love for myself and everybody on this planet. Listen, I don't have to like their beliefs, but I'm not going to take the poison pill of hate, anger, or guilt of anyone. We all come down here to play the part. You know what? Everybody's a little bit delusional if they actually think they came down here and, tomorrow the earth is going to end. No, it's not. And tomorrow we're all going to be in love with each other. That's not happening. There's 32 wars going on right now around the world that are pretty big. And there's usually around 30. And it's always been that way. Since we got here, man has been at war with himself and everyone else. And we've kind of been doing that. So we've got good guys and bad guys. We've got light and dark. We've got short and tall. We've got thin and fat. We've got sweet and sour. And welcome to planet Earth. It's a fun-filled adventure for the whole family if you learn the rules.
Thank you so much for coming to our show. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And thank you for teaching us all.
Hey, thank you for allowing me and making it possible. And I just hope that I've made a difference. Thank you.
You would have made a difference too, not just me, but all the thousands of people that are watching. And of course, this will be published on our YouTube channel later on. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye now.